Welcome to the Positive Pants Podcast. Mindset, motivation and inspiration to help you find your positive pants. It's time to let go of negative thinking, understand why you do what you do and stop the self-sabotage with your host, Fran Excel.
Welcome to the show. As always, it's Fran Excel, your resident subconscious success mentor, helping you find your very own pair of positive pants so you can get out of your own way and live a life that you love. If you want to stop self-sabotaging your own success and let go of the stress, then you are in the right place, my friend. Make sure you download your free Stressed to Success guided meditation at bit.ly/stress to success as my little gift to you just for being here. Please do subscribe, share and review. It really, really helps people that need to hear this message find us, and I so appreciate it. In the show notes, you'll also find details of how you can work with me and where you can get your mitts on my meditations, products, printables, programs. You can find it through the link in my bio on Instagram, which is my favorite place to hang out. So please do come join me over there at I'm Fran Excel. Tag me in your takeaways, slide into my DMs. I'm here for it. So that's the formalities over, my love. So let's jump to the content. What other people think of you doesn't define you. So why do we care so much? I've not done an episode on this for a little while, and it's something I get asked all the time, and it's something that came up with someone last week, and I said I'd do them a little episode. So I thought I would do a recap on this one. So when I tell people how I used to be, someone who had zero self-esteem, someone who validated themselves by other people's opinions, someone who was the most negative person in the room, catastrophizing, always looking for acceptance. Yeesh. It was an exhausting experience. But they don't believe me, which is nice. But if I can heal from it, you can too. So how do we go about this? Firstly, it's worth saying you are absolutely not alone. This is something I see come up time and time and time again when people are starting or up-leveling businesses or trying to achieve big things. These common phrases start to rear their ugly heads. Who am I to do this? What will people think of me? What if people don't like me or say mean things? Like, what if people tell me I'm wrong publicly? What if my friends and family laugh at me? What if everyone else is better than me? What if people don't accept me? I don't want to feel excluded. You know, the way that you feel about yourself is shaped before you're even 8 years old. You know, and then it gets exacerbated by other things. But you're an unconscious sponge, taking on everything that you see and hear and model. This could be from parents, siblings, friends, family, teachers, anyone in charge of your care, right? How attuned you were to your caregivers, how seen and heard you felt, what was going on in your environment. This is all like for the positive and the negative and the neutral, so to speak. Now remember, understanding this stuff is never ever about judgment or blame, and always about curiosity and knowledge that you have the power to heal and change should you choose to. It's important to note this though, because this is the stuff that will have a big factor in how resilient you are when it comes to other people's opinions of you, how resilient you are to not being included in inverted commas. I sometimes really wish you could see me in all my air quotes or caring where you are in the pecking order, more air quotes, of who's more successful than who, yeah, and where you fit. Again, it's not about blame or shame, it's about helping you make sense to you. If you're not aware of something, you can't change it. School obviously has a lot to answer for in the way that we feel about ourselves too. Rejection registers as pain in the brain, physical pain. It's very easy to be triggered by the thought of someone not accepting us, or rejecting us, or telling us we're not good enough, or saying it behind our backs, which to me is so much worse. Say it to my face, please. It's as if your inner child comes right to the surface and you are that younger version of you feeling it all over again as if you're there. So it makes sense why we might try to avoid it, right? Until we get curious and pick it apart, that is. First is about taking a look at whose opinion actually matters. Yeah. Something worth mentioning here is that sometimes someone who is really close to you, whose opinion matters in many scenarios, might be somewhat less valid in others. An example might be your parents or your spouse. Like, their opinion on what you do and who you are in many cases may be important to you. But Their view on your sales page or website with no prior experience or knowledge in that area, less so, right? Does the opinion of a stranger on the internet who is unhappy enough in their lives to comment negatively on yours really matter? Does it really have any clout? It's about starting to care what you think of yourself. The more yourself you are, the more you live by your values, the more you're not going to care about other people's opinions. Yeah. It's when we feel like we're trying to hide something from other people, like the more ourselves we can become and the more likable we can make that person, the easier it is. When we understand our own behavior, we can start to understand other people's, because the reality is we can trigger other people. We can unconsciously hold up a mirror to other people about traits that they perhaps don't like in themselves, or we can highlight that we might be doing something that they wish they could but aren't. Our success can trigger other people. What we have can trigger other people. So it's worth asking if that person's opinion has any validity too. Is what they're saying sounding true? Yeah, because this can happen. Is there some potential helpful feedback in there? If not, discount it. But it is worth checking in though. Does it have any validity? Yeah. It's being able to discern that sometimes other people's opinions have nothing to do with us and everything to do with them. Yeah. And also worth remembering that if you're so inclined to believe the negative opinions, why don't you leave the positive? Why don't you listen to that? Yeah. Good old negativity bias at play. But it is worth acknowledging that, right? We also need to appreciate it's evolutionary to be accepted. Yeah. If you weren't accepted, it could literally be life or death. You needed to be in tribes, in clans. Yeah. But we can unconsciously cause our own rejection too. If we believe that we will be rejected or not accepted, that will create certain feelings, right? And it's those feelings that drive our behavior. That might be hanging back, rejecting before we're rejected. It might be not getting involved in communities that we're in, right? But watching other people make tons of connections and feeling like we're the one on the outside and wondering why. Yeah, we can essentially create ourselves a fun little self-fulfilling prophecy of rejection, thus reinforcing everything we thought about ourselves or what was going to happen through our own behavior. Because it's not really rejection, is it? At all. But it will register as that. But we haven't put ourselves in the position to be accepted. Yeah. So try not to project your thoughts onto other people's opinions. Yeah. Because by hanging back or not getting involved, we become not involved. We're not giving off the message that we want to be involved, right? Therefore, saving ourselves from what we believe to be the inevitable rejection and creating it at the same time. Go figure. So the trick is to start becoming aware of these things. Again, not judging ourselves for it, but being curious about it. The opposite of judgment and the antidote to shame. Because a lot of this stuff really comes down to toxic shame, doesn't it? So where does this behavior make sense? Yeah. Where did it make sense in the past? What is it protecting you from? Yeah. And if you feel that tension or anxiety bubbling up, use an emotional regulation technique to wake up the part of your brain that has conscious, rational thought, choice, decisions. Because from that place, you get to talk back to it. But you have to regulate your emotions first. Super important. And if you've been uncomfortable in groups before, how can you find groups to feel safe in and break that cycle? Dip your toe in the water and allow yourself to be accepted. It's even more important if you have this pattern running that you surround yourself with people who support you and have your back. But you have to allow them to. It's like I said in the episode, Isn't It Time You Backed Yourself, when I'm talking about the mentorship that I am starting with Abby and Dawny. If you want to know more about that, just DM me on Instagram. It's everywhere, so just ask me. But allow other people to back you until you learn to back yourself. You will care far less about other people's opinions that way. Remember, opinions and thoughts aren't often truth. Other people's and your own. Yeah, people will always have an opinion about you. but the one that matters is your opinion about you. So if you got value from this and you know in your gut that now is the time to step up and start rewiring your thinking and start changing things for yourself, then book in a free discovery call so we can work out what needs to happen to get you from where you're at right now to the action-taking success you know you can be. If you want my eyes and ears on your problems, then I work with people one-on-one and through my programs. You can find all the details to book in a call in the show notes, the link in my bio on Instagram, and on my website, franexcel.com. So stop waiting for if and when and choose to change things now because you can. I'm here to believe in you when you don't believe in yourself. And as always, I hope you found this helpful, and I'll see you next week. Bye!